What's up, nerds? It's 9:30 in the morning. It's the 8th day of August in the year of our Lord Meki Ito 2023. Steve the cat is back home and being very weird. We're waiting for the test results, which actually should have been called in by now. We have some organized play news post-GENCON. So amidst all the controversy and bad news that seems to be floating around this year's Gen Con, we actually have some news that is important to some individuals that is actually worthy of talking about, as opposed to Mackenzie and her claims regarding the deck of many things, which we're not going to stop talking about, are we? Okay, so organized play. What is it? What's the difference between organized play and, I don't know, regular play and convention play? And it doesn't really matter anymore. Each of the big ones have organized play, where there's organized official storylines you go throughout a quarter. So Wizards has the Adventures League, and the Adventures League has multiple tiers and multiple adventure paths that start in January and go throughout the year. Paizo has the Starfinder League and the Pathfinder League. Games Workshop has an organized play that they do at the Games Workshop stores. There are very specific rules for making characters in organized play that are different than normal D&D Pathfinder. There are very specific rules for the adventures and what is canon in the adventures as opposed to normal. So you could be going through my favorite, Tomb of Annihilation, playing Wizards of the Coast D&D, and you could go through the organized play version, Adventures League of Tomb of Annihilation, and they would be different. And because there's multiple individuals running multiple variations of that module across the world, there's multiple possible outcomes if you play it normally. The organized play seems to feel is kind of a little more streamlined. There's prizes. You have to put your characters onto the organized play database, blah, 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 yakety smackety. All right. So with all the changes coming to many games in 2024, it's amazing how 2024 is going to affect so many different aspects of things we don't normally even connect to our little corner of the hobby. But a lot of, if you follow sports ball, a lot of contracts expire in 2024. If you follow pro wrestling, a lot of contracts expire in 2024. If you follow copyright news or movie news or entertainment news, a lot of copyrights, a lot of legacies end in 2024. The big one being Mickey Mouse. And if you follow our hobby, at the big 2024 being the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of the game companies are ending their current lines and rebooting them. Wizards is rebooting 5th edition, and Paizo is rebooting Pathfinder Starfinder. So there's a lot of concern coming out of Gen Con. How is this going to affect? I've spoken to the local representative of the Adventurers League here and several of the individuals who play in the Adventurers League here. So just segue. Again, what you guys think about 5e players and what 5e players actually think about the hobby are two different things, because 90% of the 5e players, including the Adventure League's players, pretty much are on the same side as I am, and most of us are, in the way that Wizards is treating their hobby. A lot of them were afraid of what Wizards was going to do with the Adventurers League in 2024, and a lot of the people in the Starfinder Pathfinder League are concerned because of all the changes. So let us see what they have to say for themselves, starting with Wizards. So Wizards announced at Gen Con, you do not have to worry, at least through this year and at least through the first part of next year, about AL. AL is going to have its own version of Glory of the Giants. Glory of the Giants will be legal in the Adventurers League. That means that any feats or anything that appear in this, you could use in character for characters in the official run-through of Glory of the Giants. And the Glory of the Giants adventure path, which is presented, I think it's called Glory of the Star Giants. You can get it for free on D&D Beyond and Drive-Thru. And then there will be also very specific adventures for the Adventurers League written within the chronology of Glory of the Giants, which is weird because Glory of the Giants isn't an adventure. It's a source book, but source books definitely have like adventure hints, like, oh, how to use cloud giants in your game, blah, 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 blah. And we know that Against the Giants is probably one of the top 3 constantly revisited adventures in tabletop role-playing, right? I mean, Wizards has revisited at least 3 times, and it looks like they're revisiting it again. Other companies have done homages. There's all the versions of Against the Giants before Wizards took over D&D. There's all the third parties. So I have a feeling that we are going to see for the next storyline some new variation of Against the Giants using the information in Glory of the Giants, and that should carry the Adventures League past 2024, at least until February. So at least through Q1 of 2024, Adventures League official play is okay. And the other big announcement was, of course, that they're going to have higher level play available now. They're going to be changing a lot of the restrictions because no more canon. This is another story we're getting out of bits. We don't know the full one about this one, but we do know that at Gen Con, they officially changed the canon again with going back to there is no more canon and some other stuff. Also, they'll be doing a Planescape with Adventures League, some variation of Planescape and the adventure that is presented in Planescape. We don't have any of the art or information on that yet, but we do know that between the Planescape and the Glory of the Giants, AL, you're okay at least till February, March of 2024. After that, well, it depends what they're going to do with Games Workshop. I've reached out to Games Workshop and Wizards to see what their plans are, and there has been no response. The concern amongst the AL community is that they will either abandon games, the GM's Guild. Did I say Games Workshop? I'm sorry, the GM's Guild and the Adventurers League, or they will sell it off to another company to run Adventures League and GM's Workshop. GM's Workshop is the host for all the adventures for the Adventure League. If it's on GM's Workshop, it is technically an official Wizards of the Coast product. Ha! In your face. But there is a concern that they will just either shut it down because they want everything on D&D Beyond, or sell it off to a third party like they did with Power Rangers. Moving on to Starfinder and Pathfinder. So we do know that Starfinder First Edition and Starfinder Advanced will be out in October, but ignore that because in 2024, we're having a brand new version of Starfinder coming out in sometime in 2024. So isn't it nice to know that you can get the Starfinder Enhanced Revive version of First Edition Starfinder in October, knowing full well that by the end of the year, it'll be pointless because there's a second Starfinder edition coming out, making Starfinder First Edition Starfinder Enhanced totally pointless. Way to go, Paizo. They were field testing the Starfinder Second Edition at Gen Con, and apparently it's, cause all about community. The Starfinder, they went and they kept reinforcing the idea that the Starfinder Second Edition engine will be the exact same engine that they are using in Pathfinder Second Edition. Just exchange words like spell and weapon for Starfinder appropriate names like psychic ability and laser sword. But yeah, they're using the engine of Pathfinder. So there will still be there is a Pathfinder First Edition organized play and a Starfinder organized play. The Starfinder organized play will now fall under the Starfinder First Edition Starfinder Enhanced rules coming out in October. There will still be support for Starfinder First Edition Enhanced Organized Play at least through Q1 of 2024. There is Pathfinder First Edition Organized Play. They will continue to support that at least through Q1 of 2024. But obviously after that, they are going to want to slowly discontinue any Pathfinder First Edition support. I'm surprised it's taken them this long. And slowly discontinue any Starfinder First Edition support. So at the beginning of Q2 2024, Pathfinder Organized Play can look to see Starfinder First Edition go away and Pathfinder First Edition go away as they focus on Pathfinder Second Edition Remastered Core and Starfinder 2 and the inevitable Starfinder 2 Starfinder Enhanced Remastered Core. Paizo has definitely learned their lesson in just constantly regurgitating the exact same thing, but slapping on a second edition or slapping on an enhanced title, knowing that players will buy it. Anybody remember the reason why Paizo was first created? And how they were going to be different than Wizards of the Coast and stand out? They were the young upstart, the Rocky Balboa of tabletop role-playing. Nobody thought this ugly little mug had a chance of winning the title, but it came out swinging. It stood for everything the gaming community wanted, and it stood against everything Wizards of the Coast stood for at that point in time. And they were like, dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. And they won the title. They won the title. But now it seems in their old age, they have become what they beheld, which is just sad. And now they are just a clone of Wizards of the Coast with their lack of respect for the title and the lack of the splash for players. But don't worry, it's not unlike Wizards. There is no concern that the first edition Starfinder Pathfinder stuff will go away. They continue to make that stuff available for free on their version of the GM's Guild. I believe it's called Online Pathfinder Odyssey, right? Odyssey? Is that the name for it? Anyways, yeah. So as of now, even if they discontinue active support for the Starfinder First Edition organized play and the Pathfinder First Edition organized play, that stuff will still be available if you want to go back and use it and stuff like that. So yeah, looks like at least for now, you're okay. But obviously, again, starting Q2 2024, they're going to want to focus all their attention and all their energy on Starfinder 2nd Edition and Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered Core 2. Yes, because. And then, of course, look forward to the inevitable Starfinder 2nd Edition Enhanced Core 2. A lot of changes coming, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So if you are into organized play, if you have a friendly local game store that does organized play, if you're in the Adventurers League for D&D, you're okay at least through February, March of next year. And if you're in the organized play for Pathfinder First Edition, you're okay through February, March of next year. If you're in the organized play for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you're okay. Just expect some changes once Pathfinder Remastered Electric Boogaloo comes out. And if you're in the Starfinder 2nd Edition organized play, when it goes live sometime next year, congratulations. You'll be first on the block to check out Starfinder 2, because they will always test things with the Adventurers League before they move it over to normal play. So, yay! All right, that's it. Hopefully that has clarified things. We will have more news, I'm sure, as we barrel through the remainder of August and into September. Con season will be ending. There's still a few more things that we can get information out of. We're still waiting for some more information from Wizards. Yeah, so badam. Talk to y'all later. Have a great day. If you want any more questions about the Starfinder or Pathfinder organized play, head on down to your friendly local game store if you have one and ask them if they do organized play for either of the game companies. If not, both game companies have websites specifically dedicated to this information, and the information is free, and it's free to join both. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Speaking of free, you know what else is free? If you can freely like, share, and subscribe to the OGGM Adventures, and that'll help me a lot. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'll talk to you later.